Thanks for tuning into the Adam Carolla Show. You can watch the full show on YouTube. Just search Adam Carolla Show and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also get the podcast wherever you like to listen. And for extra content, ad-free episodes, and more, you can head over to our Substack and sign up today. Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. Just to get on mandate. Get it on. Chef Gruel in studio. Man, I like Andrew Gruel. Had a good time with him on Gutfeld last week. Been watching you and seeing your progression, getting funny, bringing the comedy on Gutfeld. And then all the political stuff and the food. It's just a great combination.
I appreciate that. You know what it really is, though? I was talking to people after the show. So you guys are so funny, and if I say a couple things, they remember the show is funny, and then they think I'm funny. So if we could get booked together again, that'd be great.
I'm ready to go anytime. I love doing that show because it's light lifting, and it's not a lot of stress, and that's what brings out the best in everybody. You know, Gutfeld's great, gets there a couple minutes before the show starts. Everyone's loose. You don't know. You're too young and too late to the scene to have done all these shows back in the day. But, you know, I would tell everyone the reason I always know Ellen is a bitch is because I've done her show. Her segment producers were scared shitless. And they'd like come in the room, and it's the exact opposite of Gutfeld. They come in, they go, it's funny. They go, you're not going to talk about meat, are you? And I go, no. And by the way, you have to be on the phone with them for 2 hours, 2 days before, doing a whole rundown, a whole pre-interview. And then you get there, and it's like, talk about this, don't talk about that. Here's all stuff. And then you go out there, and it's literally, you're on a first date and someone goes, don't fart. And then you're like, like you're nervous. You're up in your head. He's got it right. Sit down, be conversational, chillax, and create the best environment you can for everyone to speak.
Yeah, and I love Fridays because he doesn't have come down from the 5, so he kind of makes some jokes ahead of time when he comes into the green room. But I'll tell you a funny story. The first time I went on a couple years ago, they send me topics. They send us over your thoughts. So I think it's so serious. So I print up this whole thing. I mean, it was like 4 pages to send to Mike or the producers. And he's, thanks, etc. So then every subsequent show, I would do that. So around, I don't know, the 11th or 12th show, I forgot to do it. So I go to Mike. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry I didn't send you the notes. I can go do something right now. He's like, oh, you've been sending those?
Oh, right.
Like, we look at them.
Now, I mean, the moral of the story, kids, is small audience, small budget, not a whole big writing room, no band, no production costs, laid back, not a bunch of segment producers, relaxed, conversational, organic, no bells and whistles, #1 in late night. Okay, so that's what we want. Now, you, Chef Gruel, who I think about all the time because your last name is Gruel. And that's Dickensian, and that's just basically slop for poor people. Like it's cheap, sort of watered-down oatmeal and breadcrumbs and stuff for old people. So, ironically, you're an incredible chef, but your last name is the worst thing they'd use to feed peasants and the workforce. But probably the animals ate better than Gruel because they needed them more than, the people that needed their health. So that's comical. But then I was thinking about people like Peter Dinklage. Dinklage sounds like Dinky. He sounds like Dinklage. And now it's all luck of the draw. You could have been Chef Dinklage and been 6 foot. He could have been
Dinkleberry.
He could have been Dinklageberry. No, he could have been Gruel and a midget, and that's fine. But then I was thinking about guys like Anthony Weiner, who got busted for taking dick pics, essentially, and his last name is Weiner. So that's a weird one. But the other one I was thinking about was, remember the Maryland dad, Kilmar?
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone's going, this guy's, I'm sure the left wishes that guy's name was Stewart, but his name was Kilmar Garcia. Kilmar is an 80s bad cop name who's shooting prostitutes.
Yeah. It could have been Bloom. It should have been Bloom. Well, just so you know, the name of this calculus, it's nominative determinism. So your name will determine. Yeah.
Except for you broke out. So Anthony Weiner lived up to his name. Yes. Peter Dinklage lived up to his name. And Kilmar lived up to his name, but not Chef Gruel. He broke out.
My stainless steel guy at the restaurants, his name is Rusty.
Oh, perfect.
So we have something in common.
So you went viral over something I've been screaming about for a million years. And so I'm not talking about food. Food is a metaphor for common sense, basic survival, love, attention, parenting, stewardship. Like, food is an umbrella. I'm not talking about food. Like, when I say to people, and everyone always gets confused, I go, you know what we're missing? Diet and exercise. Diet and exercise. And I go, oh, what about school or whatever? I go, no, it's all diet and exercise. What I'm saying is old school. Just diet and exercise, and the world, all the problems go away. Parents being parents, teachers being teachers, all the stuff we used to have, but the metaphor is just diet and exercise. And food, like, I screamed about this on this podcast years ago, and the Young Turks douchebags went nuts on me that I wanted your kids to starve and stuff. And I was like, I don't want the government feeding your kids. I want you to feed your kids. The government's going to do a horrible job. They're going to feed them gruel. Secondly, I don't want them hooked on the government starting at 5.5 years old. I don't want them depending on the government to, of all things, feed them. I want the parents to feed them. And then everyone does this thing, and it's such a leftist bullshit thing. Like, black people can't get IDs, so how are they going to vote? Oh, they don't know where the DMV is. How would they? They're black. They don't know how to work a computer or anything. Yeah, they don't know the poor people. They can feed their kids.
That's the whole point that I've been making, is exactly that. Because, it comes down to agency, right? And it's not the act. It's not the food. It's not what you're putting in your mouth.
It's not the food.
It's the process. It's coming to the table. Yes. It's shopping. It's cooking. It's learning basic economics. It's stringing out a budget. It's making sure that the meat goes a little bit longer than it otherwise would have. I wrote a piece for PragerU, and it's on the America's 250th, and it's kind of this food focus. Every single dish we know in America came out because it had a function, a working man's function. Now we don't recognize that, right? We think that food is just Instagram worthy, but there was actually a function behind every famous American dish that was rooted in the working man, their family and their routine and function.
And you had a thing I read about, I retweeted it, hopefully, about $15 a day. And so, first thing, I've been screaming about this. First off, everything that's gone wrong, I've been screaming about for years and years and years, which is, it doesn't cost a lot to eat healthy. And what they do is they do this. These guys are living in a food desert. They invent things like rain bomb or water vent or cyclone bomb or whatever. You just invent stupid
atmospheric
shit.
River.
Yeah, that doesn't exist. But okay, it's called rain, douchebags. You can, and I've said a million times, best thing you can eat is a hard-boiled egg. And don't tell me you can't afford hard-boiled a dozen eggs. I mean, I don't know, it's $3.50 or $4 or whatever. Okay, and then you can have an orange, you can have an apple, and you have some broccoli or something. Look, it's not exciting, but it's good for you, and it's cheap, and any parent can do it. And they're like, these kids don't have access. No, you can't go down to the Irwan and get the Hailey Bieber shake. I can't fucking afford the Hailey Bieber shake at Irwan, but here's the good news. Your kid's better off eating a hard-boiled egg and a carrot than the Hailey Bieber shake down at Irwan in Santa Monica.
Well, the genesis of this argument, which led to that article that you put up there, was that Brooke Rollins said you can feed people roughly on $15 a day, and then Gillibrand came out and said, oh my gosh, you elites, you think people can eat on $15 a day. So I said, here's a meal, $15 a day, 3 meals plus 2 snacks for one person, and I can change it up, right? And it's great. I posted my price calculus on there, the structure. I did a little Excel spreadsheet. Don't do that often. It was nice. And I got beat up. Oh, cans are 13 cents where I'm from, not 11. Okay, fine, 1502, right?
So first off, fuck you, feed your kids. Why are we quibbling over what a can of garbanzo beans costs? They're your kids. Fucking feed them. Not the government's job. And I know the left wants to get everyone connected to the government so they'll vote for them forever, but it's a horrible, debilitating thing. And where is the breakdown, by the way, of Chef Gruel's? We'll put it up there in a second. But I read it. And I was like, yeah, of course. But by the way, if it's $15 or it's $16.49 a day or it's $21.22, it's all academic because it's your fucking kids and you need to feed them. And everyone's fat anyway. So let's talk about this food insecurity thing. Half these kids are morbidly obese and your ass is fat too. So what is going on in terms of sustenance? You're eating the wrong stuff. All right, you got boneless chicken thighs, right?
Yep.
You got chicken sausage, you got white rice, tomato paste. This is wait a minute, what are we looking at?
This is a dish that I did subsequent articles with individual dishes, but this is a good example right here because if you break this down, cost per person, this is $4.23, right? Still fits within the $15 framework based on what you had for breakfast and lunch. This is one meal that I proceeded to keep putting evidence up there to shut people up. But this was a braised chicken sausage rice dish, which if I did this exact dish, maybe I'd mount it with a little more butter at the end and sold it at my restaurant, put it in a nice bowl. You could sell that for $29.99 in L.A.
And you're saying it's $4.23 per person. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I don't. And Dawson, you can find just because it'll drive Andrew nuts, you can find the Young Turks trying to destroy me 15, 12 years ago for saying feed your own fucking kids. Feed your own fucking kids.
You know what you'll love, though? One of the other things that people threw at me was, well, but look at and then they would post my restaurant menu. Well, I'm not opening a restaurant to feed people on $15 a day. Like, what?
Chime, isn't banking usually such a big pain in the neck? You get overdraft fees, minimum balance fees, and monthly fees. Chime does none of that. It's a bank built for you, not the 1%. And their customer service is actually real humans, not some robot. On top of that, they also now have the Chime card. That's right. It's a new way to build credit history with your own money and get rewarded every single day. This has made my life much easier, and I got the feeling you're going to love it too. It's Chime, right, Dawson?
Chime is not just smarter banking, it's the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. Head to chime.com/Adam. That is chime.com/Adam. And Adam Carolla Show listeners can earn up to an extra $350.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and the secured Chime Visa credit card are provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/feesinfo. Terms apply. Limited time only. Must open the new account and complete qualifying activities to earn rewards. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1% APY applies. No minimum balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
Well, do you love stories of myth and legend? Good. Listen up. Before Camelot and The Crown, the Pendragon cycle, Rise of the Merlin, tells the origin story. Watch a legend that shaped Britain in a 7-episode cinematic epic. This isn't a retelling of the King Arthur story. This is the rise of the world that made Arthur possible. The Pendragon cycle, Rise of the Merlin, streaming now on Daily Wire Plus. Shot across multiple international locations and years in the making. This brings myth to life. It has amazing production value, full-scale battles, and a sweeping original orchestral score. At its core, this is a return to classic epic storytelling. A story where faith, prophecy, and sacrifice truly matter. Stream the Pendragon cycle, Rise of the Merlin, now, only on Daily Wire Plus. I love it when they go, but what about, it's like, yeah, you run a restaurant. That's a business. People go in. They order wine. They enjoy a cocktail. They eat beautiful lobster. I've been there. It's a treat. It's not your kids, and you're not poor. I love when they go, well, what about, they always do that thing, too. They go, what about the one person I know who didn't? Okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a mass situation here. The But the $15 a day, now you just brought up a dish, Andrew. Sorry, I wanted to actually just see the initial breakdown of the $15 a day. And yes, you had a couple of snacks in there. You're very generous. What was it basically, just from memory? Breakfast was
like eggs and toast and yogurt, and then the first snack was nut butter and apples. Then lunch was just like a good kind of chicken dish, and then there was an afternoon snack that was it was beef. I don't recall specifically. It was either like steak bites or steak protein, and then dinner was braised chuck shoulder with like coffee espresso rub on there, which people have, which is cheap when you break it down. So you can still go gourmet, if you will. And then 2 cups of ice cream for dessert. I even had dessert in there. Then they started attacking me. Oh, you want to make people fat by forcing them to eat ice cream. There's no way to win on this. It's a whack-a-mole.
Well, no, you win. They're retarded, and they know they are, and you win. I mean, that's just how it works. It's now, go ahead and commit. Look, I drove in here 10 minutes ago. I saw a woman alone in a car wearing a mask. Okay, there is no winning except for she's a loser. You know what I'm saying? You can't convince the crazy people, but that's because they're fucking crazy. But also, these people, they just have a political axe to grind. So they see this, they go, oh, MAGA chef, aha. And again, God forbid you fucking take care of your own kids. Now, their plan is to feed them, educate them, trans them, and get you out of the picture 100%. So at someday, they'll hate your guts. They'll all be trans, gay, or lesbian. They'll be missing their dick, and they'll be morbidly obese and angry. But we haven't got to that day yet. Right now, guys like you are interfering with that process.
Yes, we're not allowing them to have a womb in a bag of Doritos, and that's a problem.
Right. All right. Yeah, got eggs, toast, yogurt, for breakfast, and then got the nut butter with the cheese. That's the weird one, because when you were telling me about the beef bites, I thought, I don't remember that part.
I think that was my second.
For the snack. I read your second.
Yeah,
okay.
I proceeded to do like 10 of these because I started getting so angry.
Oh, okay. Here is Anna Kaska, whatever her name is, Kasparian, maybe it is, when she was with the Young Turks. I don't know if she still is anymore. She seems a little more floating around out there. But anyway, this is, I don't know, 12 years old.
And it turns out that Adam Carolla has become kind of political, which he didn't really see himself doing in the past. But he addressed this in a very, very lengthy discussion, and I want to show you a few snippets of it. Let's take a quick look at the first video.
By the way, I love a very, very lengthy. It's a fucking podcast. It's an hour. I don't know. It's a very, very lengthy discussion. Yeah, I do it every day. I talk, and then it's called a podcast. But you do a show too, so it's just a show. Go ahead.
As I've gotten older, as I've had a family, as people do when they get older and they have a family and they pay more in taxes and they start looking for school systems for their kids that are usable and things like that. There's a move toward a more conservative life in general as you get older. But as far as my talking points go, stop shitting out kids you can't afford. You pay for their school breakfast, not because I want you to pay for their school breakfast, but because the kid should know that mom and or dad are paying for breakfast. I mean, making the effort. It's a psychological thing. It's not a matter of, I don't want to pay 39 cents a day for your kid. I don't give a fuck about that. Half the fucking government takes half my money, does whatever the fuck they want with it anyway. I mean, that's your kid's breakfast is the least of my worries. I worry about your kid and the message that's being sent to your kid by mama not making them breakfast. That's what I worry about. But my talking points have not changed. Get your shit together. Get to work. Stop shitting out kids. So on and so forth.
I love that video because for someone who doesn't give a shit about breakfast, he talks about breakfast throughout the entire clip.
Right,
he's like, make your kids breakfast.
She's a fucking dope. She's a dope. I mean, now that she's not as dopey as she used to be, because I guess when she used to have to live on the left side of the house, she had to repeat retarded stuff. Now she's sort of half a dope because she's drifted over to the right. First off, these guys had to grab this clip of my podcast and make a meal out of it, pardon the pun, for me saying diet and exercise. Feed your own kids. And I don't care about the money, which was specifically detailed in the clip. You just ran a clip where I said, I don't care. I want you to take care of your own kids.
The low IQ response to every single seemingly conservative talking point is, you want people to starve?
Right.
Like, you can always distill it down to that. So you gave them, you threw the meat out there for the lions, and they loved it.
Well, run it. Just let me hear her response. Just let me hear. Go back. I just want to hear from the beginning her response. So she misinterprets the whole thing, but is she misinterpreting it, or is she just doing what they do? Good people on both sides said to drink bleach.
I love that video because for someone who doesn't give a shit about breakfast, he talks about breakfast throughout the entire clip. He's like, make your kids breakfast. Now, what I love about that is it's always the go-to argument by some conservatives, and usually the least informed conservatives, right? They're really angry about free lunches. And of all the issues, of all the different things that we waste our tax dollars on, to go to the issue of school lunches just befuddles me. I just don't understand it, right?
She's literally saying what I'm saying. I don't care about the money, bitch. I said we waste half my money goes to the government. They waste it on everything. I don't care about the money. I want you to feed your own kids. Oh, God, they're so fucking dumb. But they're also kind of evil. Like, really? Okay, so I'm against kids eating, and then you're the hero who's for kids eating. I get it, hero. Fuck off. I swear to God, like, I wouldn't do that to another broadcaster. The person doesn't like the idea of kids eating. Are you that fucking simplistic? Or is it some sort of hero syndrome that you all fucking have? Some narcissistic savior syndrome?
None of these people actually care about feeding people because they don't do anything to help.
I know.
Genuinely care. So one thing I don't talk about in the mix here is, so every Monday at the restaurant we give away 200 meals, real meals, organic shrimp, chicken, vegetables that are grown from our own farmers. Our meals that are $30, $40 each, we give away 200, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less, to anyone in Huntington Beach or the surrounding community that's struggling. Typically it is families. I know who comes to get them. Families who can pay and they're like, hey, this is nice actually that you offered this. We're kind of struggling a little bit. We do that. We do that while I'm simultaneously also saying, stop relying on the government as a crutch. I'm a private business, and I'm going to put my foot forward because I do want to stop some of these hunger issues. These hunger issues, they germinate from our inability to take care of ourselves because of the lack of agency as it's been stripped away over years of government over control.
100%. So the thing is in nature, if you are a bird and you can fly and you're able-bodied, so to speak, then you can go out and hunt for yourself, or a bear or a tiger or a rat. It doesn't matter. But if you're disabled, somebody's going to have to bring the food to you or you're going to perish. And you have taken people and you've handicapped them. You've basically went Jeff Gillooly on them. You've fucking attacked them with a bat and busted them up like Tanya Harding's friend. And now they can't hunt for themselves. I want a bunch of fucking able-bodied hunters out there, and you're turning them into fat, unable-bodied, disbodied complainers, people who cannot go out and take care of them. And yes, I mean, if you think about it, you go, okay, what do we have as a society? Well, we have people that are like able-bodied people. And the able-bodied people are going to, okay, all right, here it is. We're in a giant Viking ship, right? And we got people rowing. Now, we got people like me and Chef Gruel, and I would bring your name up even if you weren't here.
Thank you.
Who row harder and more than the average person in the Viking ship. And you go, oh, what's that mean? It means I was gone all last weekend working. And when I work every weekend, every Saturday night, 2 shows, whatever, I then come back and I pay half that in taxes. And then you can use that money for your schools or what have you. I do more rowing. Oh, guess who's going out to Florida tomorrow? Well, this guy. And this guy's going to do 5 shows in Florida all fucking weekend and pay more taxes. I employ more people. You employ people. You pay more in taxes. You do more rowing than the average person. And by the way, Elon Musk does more rowing than we do. But he rows more because he has more employees. He pays more in taxes. He creates more jobs. And by the way, it's not like, oh, he just creates the guys over at SpaceX when he builds another 2 billion square foot facility to build in Texas to build Teslas, that's electricians and plumbers and carpenters. He creates so much. And so he paddles so hard. By the way, I do love that he's enemy number one.
Yep.
And amongst the left, the guy who paddles the most and the Kilmar Garcias who do the least amount of paddling are poster children for them. But they love that. I grew up with this. I understand it. My mom was this way. It's really shame because they don't do any paddling. So they look at guys like, he was born with a silver paddle in his hand. Okay. So some people are going to paddle more. Some people are going to paddle less. It'd be nice if we're in a Viking ship where everyone paddles. Okay? That would be nice. But there's some people that have such physical ailments and issues that they can't paddle. They're in a wheelchair or what have you.
Yep.
And that's fine. And there are then people who just sit there and do nothing. And then they're the people who are doing the welfare fraud and running the Somalia daycare centers. And those people ain't sitting there. They're dragging their feet in their paddle in the water, and they're making it harder. We have to paddle harder because those people are dragging us. There's people like, oh, he's a retired school teacher. And yeah, he didn't make a ton of money, but he's living off Social Security now. Fine. Just sitting on the boat. Okay.
Yep.
Now, you want as many able-bodied paddlers as you can get, rowers, as you can get in your Viking ship as a society. The more people you got dragging their feet, the more fucked up your society is going to be. There's always going to be people that are born with conditions and people confined to a wheelchair, and somebody did a header into a swimming pool and is now paraplegic, quadriplegic, what have it. That's fine. But you do not want to take able-bodied potential rowers and fuck them up. You want them rowing and taking them and telling them, you know, a society's systemically racist, and you have a target on your back, and cops hate black kids, and fucking up the schools and poisoning their brain and getting them on the government dole and handing them everything and explaining they can't do anything for themselves, they can't get IDs, they need free food. We're taking able-bodied people and we're getting them out of the paddling business and into the sitting business.
I'm going to level up your analogy.
Please.
So now in this Viking ship, Elon is on there and he's paddling and he says, you know what? Because he's a little gifted, I'm gonna invent a motor. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. So now he creates this piece of equipment that means not only do we get to our destination faster, but we can have more Viking ships out there and we can grow.
Right.
But keep rowing, everybody, because I'm going to put more motors on these boats. But then somebody in the back of the boat, one of the retards, says, wait a minute. Look, you know what? We don't need to row anymore because that guy invented something that will preclude us from having to row. And we're okay with this stagnation. So we'll use the motor and all of you can just sit around. And while they're sitting around, that same asshole at the back of the ship is saying, oh, and by the way, Elon's racist and he's this and he's this and he's this. So when they get to their destination, not only do they steal the engine from him and the idea, but they throw him in jail and tax him even more and make him do more work because he's the guy who actually fixed the problem.
Yeah. So, boy, you really added on to my Viking ship. So, listen, everybody is not going to be paddling. The other thing, too, is I'm paddling every weekend, but I'm an asshole. You're a school teacher who never worked a weekend in their fucking life and takes 3 months off, and you're a hero, except for you don't pay shit in taxes. And I pay more in one fucking weekend than you pay in a year, you need to shut the fuck up. And leave the fucking lead paddlers alone. They're the ones who are moving this ship. And by the way, the version of that is, or you can do what California does, which is fuck with them enough that they get off the ship and go get on another boat in Texas. And now you're fucked because you're left the foot draggers and the sitters.
And other Viking ship, in theory, could be your enemy. Like, that's the idea. It's the, kind of the history of Babylon. You have this amazing community that is like none other because everybody was working together, and then as it slowly fell apart, everybody left and then started warring with each other. And that's what we're seeing right now is that you got the Starbucks barista paddlers who are paddling at 10% of what everyone else is paddling, who determine that they are deserve the other 90% based on other people's work or Elon Musk's motor / engine because they went to college. And college was listening to that retard in the back of the boat, and they consider that to be erudite.
Ugh. I don't know.
We should open up a restaurant called the Viking Ship.
Listen,
it's where you cook your own food and you pay for it.
Listen, if they could get medieval times off the road, we could get the Viking Ship off the road.
I looked at the economics of medieval times, by the way. They do some serious revenue because I took the boys there a couple months back.
In your city.
They have one in Buena Park, over by Knox Berry Farm.
All right, keep going because I got a joke.
Well, I'm sitting there, I'm counting heads, I'm looking at how much we paid. You pay a certain amount and then everything they add on. So they had these flags. My son's like, I want one of those flags. And I went to the lady, hey, do I get a flag? Yeah, $10. So now I got 4 boys with me, $40 there. And then I start running the math and I'm like, these things are grossing 10 to 20 million a year. Why are so many shutting down? And but then I realized that people just aren't into Equus anymore.
How was the tournament?
It was a great tournament. I really got into it, actually. I was gambling with my buddy. The theatrics. I looked up how much those jousters make. They're ex-actors or they're trying to get to another place in their career. They're making $150, $200 to go out there and fake joust and kick each other's butts. I love medieval times. I thought it was a great experience.
How was the food?
It was a chicken that they call it was a dragon, right? They give you half a chicken on a plate. You eat it with your hands, so they're cutting back on disposable costs right there. Some microwave potatoes and no green beans. I love it. They just did meat and potatoes, and then you start with tomato soup. They're making good food cost on that. Not horrible, not great, but my kid ate a half a chicken. His protein was through the roof that night. He was lifting up his bed.
Factor, let's be honest. It usually takes a lot of effort to eat healthy. I'm always busy with comedy and podcasting, so I get back late, and I'm not about to make a 5-course meal. That's why Factor doesn't ask you to meal prep or follow recipes. It removes the entire problem. 2 minutes, real food, done. The meals have lean proteins, colorful vegetables, and whole food ingredients. I actually ate their creamy mushroom pork chop last night, and it was delicioso. Factor is always fresh, never frozen, and ready in 2 minutes. It's Factor, right, Dawson?
Head to factormeals.com/ACS50OFF and use code ACS50OFF to get 50% off your first Factor box, plus free breakfast for 1 year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor.
At Pluto TV, we're celebrating Black History Month with our free curated collection of Black entertainment.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Catch award-winning films like Dreamgirls, Monsters Ball, and Selma.
We must make a massive demonstration.
Iconic hits like School Days and Set It Off. Plus full seasons of shows like Tyler Perry's Sisters and Power.
I got you.
It's star-studded brilliant Black entertainment, and it's all free.
It's getting good.
This month and always on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
I was laughing because I'm picturing medieval times. Always felt bizarre to me. I've never been to medieval times, and it would have been the opposite of anything my family would have done. But I could have taken my kids there. But I was always laughing because it's such a big place. Like,
huge.
It's a huge place. And you need seed money to get an idea like that off the ground, you know? And when you need seed money, you have to go in and you have to pitch investors. You got guys who have money, right? And it doesn't matter whether you want to open medieval times or you have an idea for an ergonomic lap thing so you can set your computer on your lap and work on it when you're on a long flight or something. Every idea goes, it's Shark Tank. Here's our idea. Now we need investors. We need seed money. And if it's a stupid idea, you're not going to get any money. But if it's a phenomenal idea, then maybe you'll get your seed money because it's going to take a lot to Homes.com, some might say. Homes.com is the best home shopping site. It may be Homes.com's super comprehensive and transparent agent directory, or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Well, I think it's all the above. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home right now. Homes.com. That's Homes.com. We've done your homework. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah, they're in the business of keeping your car on the road. They offer friendly, helpful service and all the knowledge you need. If you can't figure out what's going on with your car, they can, because they're professionals. They're always my first call. They have thousands of parts in stock and can test your battery for free. Need wipers, a brake light, or a quick fix? They've got the right part for you. Everyone who works there is knowledgeable and friendly. The professional parts people at O'Reilly are your one-stop shop. If you're into DIY auto stuff, that's the place to go. And you can go in-store or you can go online, as I do. I always go in-store because I like the smell of an O'Reilly. It smells like victory to me. O'Reilly Auto, right, Dawson?
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
Sheath. It's simple. Sheath underwear. They make the most comfortable briefs I've ever worn. I'm wearing them right now. The stretchy fabric is made out of moisture-wicking technology that makes everything cool in the right spots. I wear them every time I'm on stage because you want to be comfortable up there. And I'm surprised it took someone this long to figure this out, but they do a dual pouch because, I don't know, unless you're Lance Armstrong, you need a dual pouch. This keeps your man parts separated from everything else. It's a game changer. I wish I had these when I was still working construction back in the day so I could add a little comfort. Sheath also has bamboo shirts and hoodies, all designed for maximum comfort. It's Sheath. Right, Dawson?
Go to sheath.com now and use the promo code ADAM to receive 20% off today. That's sheath.com today and use the promo code ADAM for 20% off.
At Pluto TV, we're celebrating Black History Month with our free curated collection of Black entertainment.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Catch award-winning films like Dreamgirls, Monsters Ball, and Selma.
We must make a massive demonstration.
Iconic hits like School Days and Set It Off. Plus full seasons of shows like Tyler Perry's Sisters and Power.
I got you.
It's star-studded brilliant Black entertainment, and it's all free.
It's getting good.
This month and always on Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Website, chefgruel.com. The restaurant, let's see.
Calico Fish House.
Calico Fish House. Delicious. Been there. A real treat. Go there and watch the chef wash dishes. So, until next time, Sam Carolla for Elisha KRAUSS and Chef Andrew Gruel saying mahalo.